Sure.
See? Hello? Hello, everyone. I do apologize for the time. I don't like being late. Um, I thank each and every one of you for coming out. We're going to have an awesome time and an informative time, and this is what this is all about. Today, my name is Andrea Holman. I was previously a candidate, but I am also the president of our neighborhood association at Park Estates North, Cashins Wildwood. We thank each and every one of you for being here. We thank the candidates for being here and participating. And we really and truly appreciate your interest in our communities, because that's what's making it so worthwhile, because our communities are us. And just to be a part of the northeast side of Oklahoma City is awesome. I really and truly I've grown up in Oklahoma City so that you'll know who I am, know my background, and know some of the things that, why we do what we do here in this forum. Like I said, my name is Andrea Holman, president of the Neighborhood Association at Park Estates North, Cashins Wildwood. Today is a forum of information, and the information that each candidate is going to bring forth, we are going to be informed and enlightened by them. The first portion of this forum is going to be with the county commissioners, candidates, and we're going to allow them to have at least up to 5 minutes. I told them they can have up to 5 minutes And then we'll pass the mics back. They have their individual mics. And then right after this particular session, then we'll go into the city council, where Kamal Pennington and John A. Pettis Jr. will be speaking. Again, I found out some real vital information not too long ago. So I said, you know what? Our community needs to be informed, well informed, because we know that knowledge is power. And we need to be knowledgeable about the people who are going to serve us in these offices, and knowing that they will be here for us as a community. So if you would, if we can just go ahead and start out with prayer, I'll pray. The moderator that we had became ill, so we're going to move on. Okay, we're going to move on. Those that have been ordained to be here, they will be here. Okay, so if you would, just pray along with me, and we're going to get things going. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for allowing us to be able to come into this place. God, we ask that you will saturate this place with your presence, and that your glory will be in the midst of us, Father, that you will not take your glory away from us. Father, we ask that you will ordain this forum from the beginning unto the end. And Father, we ask right now that no hurt, nor harm, nor danger will even come nigh those that are on their way. Father, we thank you that you are in control from the beginning unto the end. And we give you honor, we give you glory, and we give you praise. In Jesus' name, amen. First, we will have the county commissioners, which candidates, which is Mr. Jason Lowe, and we have Mr. Jed Green, and they both will go forward. First, we will have them to introduce themselves, like I said, for 5 minutes, and then we'll go into the questions. And then I will even allow you to even have questions, because as this is going to be, like I told them, I want this to be so relaxed and so confined that we just learn one another. And this is what this is about, learning one another, okay? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jed Green, and first I want to thank Andrea. Thank you for holding this. Thank you for folks that get involved in your neighborhood associations and are part of the community and work to make our communities better places. That's what I'm here for. In my lifetime, I'm around about 50 years old now, so I'm getting up there a little bit. And in my lifetime, I've worked on a few different things professionally. I've spent a lot of time as a general contractor doing construction work, small projects, larger projects. And over the last 20 years, I've done a lot of work as a political consultant and an advocate for different causes here around our state. And it's allowed me a really interesting perspective. I'm the guy that was always trying to sit at the back of the class. I spent a whole lot of time in detention, and always was one that questioned authority. I believe that we question everything. And so it's been an interesting journey for me over especially the last 20 years to get to have a better idea of how our government functions, how it doesn't function, how that affects our daily lives. I try to spend as much time as I can raising up my two girls. They're 16 and 12 now, getting bigger and bigger, and I'm really proud of them. They're my heart and soul. And what I try to impart to them and what I try to do in my daily works is to help empower people and help stand up for folks whose voices may be being drowned out or ignored. And so it's a really interesting thing to go, as I have around, be it at the state level or the county level or even the municipal level, and work with local leaders, work with local communities to to see things be changed. And when our local governments get stuck, as they do from time to time, if not all the time, it feels like, it's never enough just to go in and say, hey, we've got a problem, we elected you, you figure out how to fix it. It's more important for us to say, hey, we've got an issue and here are solutions that we are proposing for the problem. Now, I'm the type of individual that, professionally in state history, and will likely do it again, and I'm willing to do it here at the county level if that's what we need to do as a people, is I empower the people to the point of gathering signatures and putting propositions out there. One of my big concerns that I see with government at all levels right now, and something that I think that we can all work together to fix, is getting more open communication, not having decisions that our leaders make catch us by surprise, but get more open communication. And that is not something that we can just expect them to do. We have to be involved. We have to continue to be engaged. But there are many things like this that concern me, and I think that I've been able to help break down some of those barriers in the past, and hope to do that again. So again, I'm Jed Green. I'm here to help at the end of the day.
That's a light. It's not mine.
Lord have mercy. This one?
Yeah, I can bring you one down. Hold on.
Thank you. So now we'll have Jason Lowe, who will give us his bio. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Madam President, for throwing this event today, or hosting this event today. It's very important that we encourage and educate our community on what's going on as far as this upcoming election, which is April 1st. My name is Jason Lowe. I am State Representative for House District 97, and for all that are not aware, you are in House District 97, the best district in the state of Oklahoma, so welcome. I am also a practicing attorney. I've been practicing law for over 20 years now here in Oklahoma County. I handle primarily criminal law and also a little bit of family law. I was elected to the House of Representatives in 2016. I serve on the House Judiciary Committee, which I believe is the most important committee in the state of Oklahoma because it deals with criminal laws. I'm a true believer in rehabilitation over incarceration, especially for nonviolent offenders. I say, why spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year housing an 18, 19, 20-year-old in prison when we can find them a job, we can find them a great education, and also make sure that they're part of their family unit. So once again, my name is Jason Lowe. I'm asking for your vote and your support on April 1st. Early voting is Thursday of this week and also Friday. So please get out there and vote. Local elections are just so very important because it deals with your day-to-day life, your roads, your bridges, your day-to-day life. We worry about the national elections, which are very important as well. But I think our local elections are just so very important. And I'm asking for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All righty. I think I have it working now. I'm going to ask a couple of questions to both of the candidates. And we would like, as you both have stated, about your engagement with the community. In what ways will you involve community members in decision-making processes and ensure their voices are heard, valued, and understood in the county commission deliberations? Jed, we'll start with you, and you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. What I would like to do in order to do that is simply get out and be in the community. That's where it's all at. And so what I What I would like to do, it's a listen, respond, and act. As county commissioner, or even not, I've come here to help, and so I really appreciate everyone who I have been able to talk to so far in communities across our state, across our district, and to hear what those concerns are. For example, I see a lot of folks have got community gardens that they could probably use a little bit of help with. Not a problem. I know a whole bunch of growers and a whole bunch of guys that do agriculture. We can work on those things. So that's what it's about, is it's about being out in the community, showing up, listening, responding, and then helping empower those folks to find a course of action.
Okay, Mr. Lowe.
Thank you for that question.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. These mics are acting up.
Yeah,
Thank you for that question. I think engaging the community is something that's very important, and I have engaged the community as a District 97 representative, as far as hosting Know Your Right forums, as far as engaging the community as Low Law Firm Family Fun Day, which we have done over the last 10 years, where we've provided free school supplies, where we've provided health checks and screenings for the community at no cost whatsoever. And also sending out mailers to the community, letting them know upcoming legislation, what's going on, supporting Langston University. As chairman of the Oklahoma Legislative Black Caucus, I was able to raise, put it in the pot, $130,000 for Langston University. So now we have monies given to Langston University every 2 years. We provide a $20,000 check to Langston University through the Oklahoma Legislative Black Caucus. And I was able to raise the most money for the Oklahoma Legislative Black Caucus in its history. So when we engage, we promote education, because I'm a true believer in education. Education is the gateway out of poverty. Education is the gateway to success. So when we do those things and we engage and let people know what's going on, or as far as the bills at the legislature, or just in community engagements such as Low Law Firm Family Fun Day, I think that makes a better community. That makes also a pipeline to success as opposed to incarceration.
We have a question for you both regarding transparency and accountability. What measures will you implement to ensure transparency in county operations and maintain accountability to your constituents?
I'll go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Lowe.
and
Yes,
answer.
please.
Transparency and accountability is so very important in this position. We just passed a $260 million bond, and it's supposed to go to a jail, to build a jail, and now they're saying that we need $400 billion more. It doesn't make sense, okay? We got to make sure that folks know what they're voting on. If you ask for 260, that's what you need to get. You need to get 260. We don't need to build a new jail that's a fortress, because what happens is it's going to be a huge jail, 2,500 people, and guess what they're going to need to do? They're going to need to fill that jail. And that's what I'm totally against. So when I talk about transparency, if there's a bond issue or any type of issue, I want to make sure I bring it to the public, have community forums. When Vivian Miller from Spencer, she's here today, when there's an issue in Spencer, she calls me. She says, hey, Jason, this is what's going on, and I'm out there. Because we need to be transparent. We need to make sure everyone knows what's going on as far as the bills from the legislature or even as your next county commissioner. And that's what I've done. You've all seen me around. I haven't disappeared. I'm engaged in the community. So that's what I'm going to continue to do as your next county commissioner.
Do you need for me to state the question again? before you
No,
do?
no,
Okay.
no, ma'am. What I
Thank
would like to do, because I think we'll find this a lot, that myself and the representative tend to agree on a whole lot of things, and so what I would do to simply build on what he said and what I agree with is transparency. Well, we get out, folks talks to the community, but transparency in the process, specifically on what's going on with the county jail. What I would like to note is that transparently, they don't have the money to move forward. Period. And what I have indicated and what I will continue to press for is that transparently there is a state and there are municipalities that depend on Oklahoma County as a central hub for both mental health and corrections. What I haven't seen is a commitment from the state, number one, to actually help with building that core infrastructure. I think that we need more transparency on exactly who we're locking up, why we're locking them up. If we've got folks that are coming in, they're being held for a few days, and all they had was a simple possession charge that isn't going to amount to more than a misdemeanor and a $400 fine, why'd we ever put them in there to begin with? Transparency in the system is going to be with how we're handling when people are brought in, who's bringing them in, and who that's being done by. I honestly don't believe that we have seen enough transparency on how our system functions to be able to even say that we need a jail of X size. And transparently, guys and gals, here's the situation. That jail's not being built until our county votes again without a lot of assistance from the state or an outside entity. After what I've seen, a lot of folks voted in good faith to provide dollars to build a facility that is the physical manifestation of our mental health and incarceration policies. And what we have seen done, how we have seen that handled, and I've expressed this to our county board. I don't see another yes vote on another dime coming out of Oklahoma County until we get some real transparency on what the plan is, what we're doing to move forward, how we see that affecting District 1, because this is where the jail is and where they want to put it. There's a lot of conversation that's got to happen, and I tell you this, whether I'm your county commissioner or I'm not your county commissioner, it ain't never going to be 2 against 1 on that board. It's going to be 2 against all if they want to do something that goes against the best interests of what we need for our district and our county.
Thank you. Now, what I want to do so that the audience, so the constituents can be involved in this conversation, because I don't want this to just be one-sided, okay? So if there's anyone that would like to say anything to the transparency, please raise your hand, and we will acknowledge you and have someone to take the mic, bring the mic to you, okay? And then what I would ask for you to do is to limit your time, because I'm going to ask you maybe to do a minute or 2, so that we can make sure that everyone who has a voice is heard, okay? And I do believe in voices being heard. Yes, sir, please. Please state
Hello.
your name.
Speaking of transparency, I just want to ask a couple of questions. It's a multi-part question, but I'm not going to take long to ask them. Can you speak on the salary of the county commissioner, the areas that are covered? You spoke on what you guys do now. If you're not successful, how are you going to continue to help the community in your present endeavors? And also make sure, speak on transparency as far as, what's the terminology? Conflict of interest in your present position and the current position you're seeking.
Go ahead, Mr. Love. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, okay, go for it.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, good. For me personally, if I'm elected county commissioner, I would have to, as far as conflicts, I would have to resign my position as state representative for House District 97. There's a law in place that precludes a person from taking two positions, political positions at the same time. There was an issue with Governor Stitt appointment, so I don't want to get into the weeds, but I would have to resign. The second issue, as far as if I'm not elected to this position, I'm going to still engage the community because I'm going to be if you're in District 97, your state representative, and I'm going to continue to work hard. I'm going to continue to show up to committee meetings. I'm going to continue to advocate for my community that I love. As far as the salary for a county commissioner, I believe the salary is $148,000 a year. Plus other benefits as well. There was another question in there, I'm sure.
Trying to remember it myself. Let's see, we talked about conflicts.
Yes.
Your present position now, contractor, attorney, how are you going to devote full time to being a county commissioner and still do your personal jobs?
Wow, great question. I actually hired an attorney today. That's amazing. I actually hired an attorney today. I am not going to practice law. I'm going to delegate that because my priority is the Oklahoma County Commissioner's Office. There's some cases that I have to close out that I'm already retained on, so that's going to go past that mark. But as far as new cases, my primary responsibility is County Commissioner's Office, and that's why I have another attorney on staff that's going to handle other cases. So thank you for that question.
Great answer.
One more follow-up on that. The other question, what are the boundaries of the, is it commissioner for the area District 1, or I can't remember what area it is?
Let me tell you, it's huge, okay?
I used to work for the county, I know.
Yeah, and this knocking doors in this district is just, wow. But from all of Spencer to Del City to Midwest City, parts of Luther, okay, and Northeast Oklahoma City, most of Northeast Oklahoma City, except for Camelot, which, that's that area over there, the Village. So it's huge. It's a large district. I think I've lost some pounds during this election cycle. I've eaten bad too, though. But I'm out there knocking, trying to cover the entire area, which is impossible. And also, I have to mention my favorite area, Forest Park. That's also in the district as well.
Now, that question was for both, so I want to make sure that I'm not asking one person.
Okay, so let's just run this down as far as the back, working backwards to forwards. Yep, all of what you said is in the district, but don't forget us folks over there on the west side, Taft Stadium area. So anyway, it is a big district. It's a very diverse district. It is actually the most diverse district, county commission district in the state, hands down. It is a very, very unique district in that way. As far as the dollars that go with the job position, last I checked, it was like around 120, but 120, 148, I'll take your word for it. At the end of the day, here's the thing. You can tell I haven't dialed in because those dollars are not the goal here. Okay? Fundamentally, you can't serve two gods. You can't serve two masters, right? In the work that I have done the last 7 years up at our state capitol, it's all generally been revolved around cannabis. It doesn't matter if it's medical marijuana or if it's hemp. That's been my issue. That's what I do. When I'm at the Capitol, I stick to that one issue. Can't serve two masters. The only thing that gets me to deviate is when lawmakers attempt to take away your power as a people and attempt to take away your voice, then we go to war over that as well. Fortunately for me, and what I do, I'm the director of a group called ORCA, Oklahomans for Responsible Cannabis Action. And I am fortunate to have a large group of support across this state that would be able to pick up a lot of what we do. And so I'm blessed in that while I am not a rich man, I'm fine. The good Lord provides. At the end of the day, you couldn't do for example, I have no commercial license to operate within the medical marijuana industry. I have no license. I am purely an advocate, and to that end, I have a prerogative to advocate where I see that advocacy is needed. And after the time that we have spent on this issue at the Capitol, that community has other things going forward that could greatly benefit our district and our county. But I won't have the only other business that I do, and I haven't done a lot of it in the last 4 or 5, 6 years now, are candidate campaigns. Done a lot of that type of work. Heck, I know better than to run for office, and I'm still doing it. So there's definitely some latitude there. There are definitely reporting requirements, especially for county commissioners. That is one thing about county commissioner. It is a very easily corruptible position, possibly more so. I mean, again, Oklahoma being Oklahoma, back in the 80s, as a lot of folks are aware, we created the largest federal corruption scandal in United States history through our county commissioners. So again, this is where transparency is really important. And again, that's a little bit more about who I am, where I am. I guess at the end of the day, as long as anything doesn't come up that's too tightly related to cannabis, which isn't generally a big deal at the county level, there aren't going to be any issues. And if there was a conflict, I'd just recuse the vote. You know?
I thank you. We have a question here in the gentleman in the gray shirt.
Thank you. My transparency question is, as a taxpaying constituent here in Oklahoma City and in this district, is how the federal, the state, and the city go in to build the prison here on this side of town. How did that work together as far as transparency? Because I know money have to come from all of that. And in sending money up to Washington and then watching it come back down to me and the community, I want to see how that works as far as being transparent with the commissioners, because like you said, it's some things can happen there that we don't even know about as far as the money. The state may get more of an allotment than the city, or the city may get more of an allotment than whoever, the commissioners. So how does that work for me being a taxpayer? And they want to put this here in my community over here, and then, just like you said a while ago, they need some more money. Because they gonna get the money, they got to get it from us.
Let me tell you here, right now, I would never vote for a jail to be built in Northeast Oklahoma City. Allotment, money, perks, whatever it may be. I tell you here right now, I would never vote for a jail to be built in Northeast Oklahoma City. And let me tell you what we've done to prevent, because it was on the list at one point. Forest Park, Spencer, close to Douglas High School, Northeast 10th. It was on the list. And guess what I did? I organized a forum in this building to push back on that, Senator Nikki Nice and I marched with a group of great individuals from Coltrane all the way to the courthouse in opposition to a jail being built in Northeast Oklahoma City. And guess what? They're not building a jail in Northeast Oklahoma City. So I say that to say that I will do everything in my power to make sure that never happens.
Thank you. Jed, do you have anything to?
Well, I mean, I think that's just a wonderful example of what happens when a community comes together, when community leaders step up, and, you know, there you go, results, right? I think that to dig into that, you know, where the jail, if built, will be built, you know, has been decided now, per se. You know, it's something that's not going to be happening over here in Northeast Oklahoma City. The land, you know, the land has been purchased. There's been a lot go on with that, as we're all aware of. And again, thanks to folks that stood strong in their local communities, those communities are not necessarily where this jail is going to be. Now we have to look at what's going on for, you know, folks over in the Middale area of District 1. What's happening over there? There's no good place to put a jail, period. There's no good place to put a jail. And so now what we need to look at, because our other brothers and sisters here in District 1 are affected by this, you know, what my concern is moving forward is, A, you know, we put out our conditions. We want to see some money come from the state and elsewhere before we even move forward. But I think a big part of that conversation also needs to be, what does mitigation, impact mitigation look like for those communities there? You know, this, been over in that neck of the woods, talked to folks, and, you know, some of the issues that have been brought up is that there's an entire support system, per se, that's built up around the jail where it sits right now. Okay? It's where all the bail bonds folks are. It's where a lot of other folks are. And so what if, you know, conversations that need to be had are, if we, again, we go back to those folks that probably don't even need to be checked in to begin with. But if we're going to be checking them in and checking them out, why not check them in and out over the existing facility that already has all the support system around there, as opposed to taking those folks over to any other new facility? Let's say we get down the road and a new facility is built of some size yet to be determined. I know there's a plan on paper, but if you don't have the dollars, your plan don't mean nothing, because the budget is the plan. Okay, so what I want to, you know, maybe we need to have some conversations about, if we've got this facility over in this area where it's going to have more community impact, maybe we're screening out who we're running in and out of there. You know, maybe folks that go over there, they're not going to be released in 2 days, 30 days, 60 days. They're going to be there for a while. Well, if that's who you're putting there and you're processing folks over where all the infrastructure is, well, that starts to mitigate impact over there in that neighborhood. So, again, I want to address the federal money. One thing I think we need to all be aware of is that I don't see any federal money coming here. Again, we look and see what's going on in Washington, and I'm just going to leave that sit right there, okay? We are on our own here, folks. Something else to keep in mind. The Justice Department, you know, we've been put on notice on the jailhouse, the state has too. Yeah, they're not coming and doing anything about it now. Take a look at what your administration is. You think they care about human rights abuses in our jail, and they're going to have the Department of Justice come in here and help us out, do anything, tell us to do anything? No, they're not going to do none of that. So be it that, be it when we're talking about federal dollars coming in. You know, one thing I've talked a little bit about is helping support the community gardens around here. Well, when we just saw the federal government cut a bunch of money that goes to school lunches and things like that, guys, we're going to have to get it together on some of these things and be transparent about, you know, for example, what's our chance of the federal government doing anything to help? Basically zero the next 4 years. We're going to have to, I'm not going to say we're completely on our own, but this is why when the state is sitting on dollars, they probably owe us money to begin with. This is something that affects everyone. You know, this is where our leaders need to get really, really direct to the state about what that looks like, or, you know, perhaps Oklahoma County needs to move forward with plans that we can financially afford without having to ask for more dollars. And maybe that means that the folks at Oklahoma County's incarcerating just gets back down to folks at Oklahoma County's arresting.
Right.
We got
Thank you.
contracts, but we're not obligated.
Yes. Thank you. Are there any more questions? I see one. Okay.
Both of you spoke about transparency. My question is, what will be your focus when you go in to look at some of the other responsibilities, such as how contracts are being awarded at the county level, how county offices are functioning? How do we determine whether or not we're diversifying opportunity when it comes to contracts? And the financial flow. What system do you have in place now? Not a good one. Versus what you plan on doing in terms of having a system in place that allows one to be transparent.
So I think, you know, two parts to that question. Number one, what are we doing to ensure basically efficiency in, say, other county offices? What's the district attorney doing? For example, one thing that kind of grinds my gears and a lot of folks that I'd talk to is, you know, someone will be arrested, charges are pending, but charges are not filed for a prolonged period of time. That has a bad effect on folks' ability to move forward with life. It's like just hanging. The worst punishment is suspense a lot of times. You know, when we take a look at why we're arresting folks, did we bring, again, someone in on, say, a simple possession charge, kept them in jail 4 days, in the meantime, they lost their job, their car's an impound, and it has a cascade effect. You know, the vast majority of us here in this county are someone or know someone that can be, you know, one missed day of work, one paycheck, one job away from absolute disaster that has a cascade effect that destroys families literally. And those are the type of things in the system that we need to be looking at there. You know, I'm willing to have the conversation. I could not sit here tell you whether this is popular, unpopular, don't care. One thing we need to take a look at is we need to take a look at what's going on with our jail trust. We've had it there for a while. I know a lot of folks that were big proponents of getting that together, and they now say, well, this is, you know, we're no better off than what we were before. Well, if that is in fact the situation, then what are we doing here, folks? You know, do we need to streamline this back, put the sheriff back in charge of the jail and make sure that the sheriff is officed where the new jail is as part of the mitigation strategy? These may or may not be popular concepts, but I think that we're all due an explanation of this when we talk about looking at what that system is as a whole. You know, what are we doing there? I think that these are conversations that need to be had. Now, as far as contracts going out, one thing I've noticed, be it at the state or somewhat at the county level, and if you know what you're looking for, you can find it. But wouldn't it be wonderful as part of you know, something that was done, education per se, that we have? What if we got out and said, okay, we're going to have seminars, we're going to have classes that are going to let know folks how to get involved in that process. Here's where you can find the bids, here's what's going on. Maybe we make a more concerted effort to say, hey, these things are coming up for bid, and then also let folks what technical steps that they need to get on the list to be a county vendor and those type of things. You know, it's an active engagement. If you're going out and we're doing community forums, well then, you know, here we have an educational facility that I would imagine we could probably come back and, you know, get it together and do those type of things. Again, it's a listen, respond, and act. And even those things right there, you know, those are things that we can work together as a community, and if we don't feel like we're getting it done fast enough with our county leaders, well, I mean, there's nothing but air and opportunity here.
Thank you. Mr. Lowe.
Thank you for that question. I'm a big believer in diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm a huge believer in it. I'm also a believer in set-asides for minority contractors. And I want to say here publicly, if I'm elected as your next county commissioner, there's a staff of 32 for a county commissioner's position. And I want to make that the most diverse staff in the history of the county commission. As an attorney, I plan on bringing three things to this job: the law, the facts, and the evidence. So I'm going to be able to review those contracts that they have approved over the last several years. And I want to make sure the contracts that are approved are fair and equitable to my community. And that's what I'm planning on doing. And that's why I believe we need an attorney in this position. Something we haven't had since Jim Roth, over 20 years ago. And the first African-American attorney. I think that's just very important, because we need that more diversity. As I said, I'm a big advocate for diversity. So I want to make sure my community has a seat at the table. And that's what I plan on doing. I'm not ashamed or embarrassed or think this is going to hurt me by promoting diversity. It seems like it's a bad word in the media now, especially in this state. But guess what? That's what I plan on doing, promoting diversity.
All righty, we don't have that much time left, so if we could go to the next question, which is and if y'all would, let's limit this one to about 30 seconds. Give me that one, because I have two more questions that I would really and truly like for everyone to hear and to also, if it is that time, to respond to. The budget priorities. What are your top budget priorities for the county? And how do you plan to balance fiscal responsibilities with the need of essential services? Go ahead. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I just need it.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, check it out. The budget is the plan. We got to get the jail dealt with. We need other folks to chip in so that we can actually take our dollars and resources and put them back into programs in the community, such as, obviously, infrastructure, but then facilitating and supporting nonprofit activities, and then also working to have educational programs that help involvement.
Now, when you say that you want people to chip in, who are those people? Or
The state of Oklahoma.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you.
They're not getting off the hook with me, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Y'all don't know.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mr.
I actually
Thank
agree
you,
with
Mr.
everything.
Green.
With everything you just said. But I think mental health is a big issue, especially in our community, where involvement as far as law enforcement, where they don't take into effect a person's mental health, as opposed to arresting and incarcerating folks. Also, the jails, the jail, and also roads and bridges. Those are my three priorities.
Thank you.
Priorities.
Four, yeah, that's four. The next question is tax policies. Do you foresee advocating for changes to existing tax structures? If so, what are your proposed changes, and how will they impact residents? Go ahead, Mr. Lowe.
Major source, or the only source of revenue, is property taxes, as far as the county commissioners. Fixing roads, bridges, and so forth. I'm not an advocate for raising any property taxes on my community. There's plenty of people that are on fixed incomes, and so I'm not an advocate for that. Secondly, there's been a proposal as far as a sales tax that hasn't come across my desk at this point. And I'm not, as I said, across the board, I'm not an advocate for raising taxes.
You, Mr. Green.
So I think I've been pretty direct about this. Number one, review. It's not what we raise, it's what we spend. Let's make sure that we're spending our dollars wisely before we even start talking about a tax. Next thing, yes, money from the state on the jail specifically. If we're going to look at any sort of tax increase of any kind, I'm allergic to those, basically, especially when I haven't seen things done. That said, you've got two potential options here. property tax and some sort of county sales tax, which it has been noted that we do not have that here in Oklahoma County, unlike other counties. But before we talk taxes, we talk about where we're spending the money right now, who else owes, who else needs to pay besides Oklahoma County taxpayers.
I will open this up for questions. Yes.
Governor on down, where are you from the governor on down, how you are placed, and who's above you, and how will they affect what you will be doing in the community if it's just going to be one person?
Okay. Hello? Okay. Hello, like I'm on the phone. There's 3 county commissioners. There's District 1, District 2, District 3, and we all work together. So if there's a vote, if there's 2 to 1, that moves forward whatever item that's on the agenda. Okay, so right now, excuse me, as state representative, I am more in work with the governor a lot more than I would work with the county as your next county commissioner, based on the fact that I'm in the House of Representatives, and then there's the Senate, and obviously the executive branch, which is the governor's position. The county commissioner is a totally different branch, as county government as opposed to state government. The only way a county commissioner will have engagement with the executive or the Senate or the House of Representatives is if there's a piece of legislation that changes how we operate in the space of a county commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay. Then my next question is, then, if we know what the governor, who he follows, and how he proceeds to do different things. So, and especially the Senate and the House of Representatives. And we only, in our community, we only have 1 vote, 2 votes, or 3 votes at the most. And so I guess what I'm saying is, how can, even with the 3 of you all, and it's 2 against 1, 1 against whatever, how are you going to be able to get anything done with knowing what type of governor we have, what type of Senate we have, and what type of representative? Because you all, both of you all, can do a darn good job. You can bring in the community and everything, but those people can say no. How will you handle that? Because they have a right to say no and not work with you all.
Well, they are some stubborn folks up there at the Capitol sometimes, and I will tell you this, you know, part of my experience here is not only truth to power, but to fight the power, and that's what I've done on the issue that I've been on for the last 7 years. Can you imagine going to the Oklahoma legislature in our deep red government and saying, guess what, guys, we're doing marijuana now? You think that was an easy thing? Heck no. But you know what? We get it done. And what we have been able to do is we've been able to continue to develop that program. We've been able to do it by working with folks on both sides of the aisle. And okay, now we're going to get real transparent. I'm going to tell you what them folks up there understand. They understand force. They don't understand good policy. Some of them do, like this gentleman. But a lot of the folks up there, the ones that you're concerned about, the governor, the supermajority in this state, there are ways that you can work with them, but you can't just go in there and say, we're going to go away, you know, we're going to come and ask, we feel like you're stronger than we are. At the end of the day, what everyone needs to realize, and that's why us 2 men are here today, where does our power come from if elected county commissioner? You.
Us. Oh.
All power comes from the people. All power comes from the people. And this is what I am saying. This is what I'm saying. We have the power to get what we need, but it takes a whole lot of us to get together and do it.
Okay.
And that's what, again, it is rough dealing with those folks, but you, even as an individual, you are not powerless.
Right.
I stand here as one person that's about to propose a constitutional amendment to this state that was brought together by working with hundreds of folks all across the state and getting together. Is it easy? No. But are we helpless, and are we going to just get dispatched by the governor? I mean, not as long as I'm around. We're going to at least fight them for it.
All righty,
Okay,
thank you.
Mr. Green and Mr. Lowe.
Wait, did you get the answer? Hold on for me,
Did you get the
sis.
answer?
Did you get the answer?
I guess I can answer. Yes, absolutely.
Hold on for me, because we want to have some, sis had hers and then Ms. Funches, and then we're going to end this session and then go into the city council session, okay? So I'll allow you two ladies, and
Okay.
then I will not ask any more questions, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I say, welcome to my world. I'm 18 out of 101 Democrats in the House. There's, 8 senators out of 48 in the Senate. But we got to still fight. We can't give up. We got to still push. They tried to build a jail in Northeast Oklahoma City, and that's what we did. So there's things that we can do. And one of the things that we can do is make sure we get out there and vote April 1st.
Okay.
Make sure not only everyone here is going to get out there and vote, but make sure your cousins get out there and vote. Your nephews get out there and vote. Your kids get out there and vote. Hold them accountable. And that's the only way things are going to change in this state, because we can win these seats.
Yes.
We can win these seats, but we have to make sure our community, not only ourselves, get out there and vote.
Okay, Jason and Mr. Green, I want to ask you, I lived in Luther, Oklahoma, so there's more to a county commissioner than the county jail. And so I don't hear you all saying anything about bridges and roads. What are you going to do to fix those? That's all I hear is the county jail, the county jail. Jason, Jed, tell us something else that you can do besides that. We already know that it's not going to be on the northeast part of town now. So tell us, what are you going to do, Jason, on the northeast part of town? What are you going to do for our neighborhoods? You came to some of our churches and said that you were going to get to work. Like what? And Jed, you said you were going to work with cannabis. To me, cannabis is not doing nothing in the Capitol. Because I know a lot of black people that have tried to get into cannabis, and I don't see nobody trying to help them but break them down. They can't even get licenses. And when they do, you're trying to take it away from them. You find something to get them from. The pastors were down at the courthouse because one man killed somebody because he broke into his place, his cannabis place. And nobody stood up for him except that man right over there, Reverend Scobie, and the pastors. So tell us something about the bridges and the roads that we need out in the country. And Jason, if you are Jed Wynn, the county commissioner, will you be on 23rd, Northeast 23rd Street? Because when Shirley Darrell was county commissioner, she was on Northeast 23rd Street. But our last county commissioner was downtown. So where are you going to be? Where's your office going to be? Both of you.
Thank you for that question. As I said earlier, diversity, getting jobs for people in our community is something that's definitely important to me. And also, as you said, roads and bridges, our streets are horrible. When kids are in school buses and they're dodging potholes, that's unfortunate. And I had a conversation with an individual from Spencer several months ago, where he told me that his roads haven't been paved in 40 years. That's unacceptable. And I've learned so much knocking on doors. Learned about those particular issues. And I don't know everything, and I'm not saying that I do. But, just to be informed by my constituents and also my potential constituents about those particular issues, as far as our roads, our bridges, those are definitely going to be a priority of mine. And I want to work also with the city council, where we can do joint projects. where I believe we can cut costs that way. But yes, definitely jobs, mental health, as I talked about earlier, incarceration, the jail is an issue. But yes, you are absolutely right. It is not the only issue. And I thank you for saying that. But all of the above is going to be very important to me. And I want to make sure and try to do a great job for you. And yes, I will be on 23rd Street. I will be at Millwood High School, where I do a backpack giveaway every year. I will be continuously in the community I love.
He answers the calls. I have to give that to him. The lady in the pink and then Ms. Funches,
Okay.
then you will have the.
I'll keep this real brief. I've laid out what the plan would be to get resources out to the rest of the district. It's obvious a deal. It's obviously a big problem. Been so fixated on the jail that it's draining away resources from everywhere else. Now, I want to say something to your question about cannabis licensing for minority folks, okay? Number one, when I ran that 788 campaign, we created the most open and accessible and diverse program in the country, hands down. No one else got done what we got done. And what we did was we created a low bar of entry. The state took that away, and believe me, it's not just minority folks, it's everyone in the state that is being choked out intentionally by the state through the licensing scheme. But I'm not here to go off on about that right now, but I tell you, I could in a heartbeat. What I can tell you is what I've done to protect everyone's ability to have access to that opportunity is for over a year and a half, I've had a lawsuit against the state where they went to raise those license fees and push everyone out of business and create that limitation there. And I've got all sorts of problems that I could talk about with our Oklahoma County District Court system and how they've dragged their feet to cover that type of a deal. But again, I promise you, there is no one in this nation that has done more to protect access to that program and economic opportunities for everyone. Will I be on 20? They ain't going to get rid of me. I've been there. And if we need to get in there and start taking hostages over things that we need done here, then we absolutely can. Our sheriff should not have to go in by himself to get done those bills. Our sheriff should not have had to have hired a lobbyist to get a couple of common sense measures through. I guarantee I'll save that money.
I know. Thank you. Ma'am.
Thank you. My question is, we have a huge homeless population. And we had a very hard winter, and I'm sure our summer will be just as bad or worse. The indigent burial falls under the county commissioner. The cost received 2 funeral homes is $250 if you agree to take in an indigent person for their final disposition. It's also offered to families that do not have funds for a burial. That cost is not enough to bury anyone. What would you suggest or do to ensure that homeless people, the poor in our community, are buried or a form of disposition with dignity? Can you tell us anything that you could or would do to support indigent burials?
Well, the first thing I'd do is I'd listen to you and I'd say, okay, what's that actual cost? What is the actual cost that it's going to cover to take that? You know, what's it going to take there? And what are the number of cases that we're dealing with? And immediately look at where we could simply provide dollars to get in line with what those costs are and work within the existing system. Outside of that, I think that there is one thing I see with the issues related to our unhoused folks are that we've got some government services, we've got some non-governmental organizations, and then we've also got grassroots groups that are actually out on the streets delivering sandwiches, propane, and all of those other things where the current system falls through the gap. There are some really amazing people out there, and I think that when we talk about final disposition, but general disposition, and what's going on, that there is a whole lot more that can be done and should be done.
Thank you.
Great question. Great question as far as homelessness. It's a major issue, not only in District 97, but at the entire state. And, you know, as a criminal defense lawyer, a lot of people seem to be arrested for their mental health condition. And I'm a big advocate for what's called veterans diversion, because there's a lot of veterans that are suffering from whatever reason from mental health crisis. So I'm a big believer in opening up veterans diversion, which now is only for individuals that are incarcerated or individuals that are locked up. We need to open that up to everyone, because I'm a big believer, as I said before, in rehabilitation over incarceration. So if we open up that program to everyone, especially our vets, trust me, there's going to be a great reduction as far as criminal incidents and also individuals being arrested falsely. And I want to talk to you a little bit about a bill that I passed as a Democrat in the State House. And it deals with, and the reason I should say, before I get into the bill, the reason I passed this bill or advocated for this bill was Benny Edwards. He was an individual that was shot in the back by police officers and killed. So what I did with Senator Matthews, we had a discussion about this particular bill, about this particular incident. So we came up with a bill. And this bill that was passed through the House, that was passed through the Senate, and also signed by the governor, requires law enforcement to receive de-escalation training. Because when I saw that video, that man, Benny, and I know him by Benny, and I call him the flower man, because he was actually a friend of mine. Every time he would see me, he would try to sell me a flower or a rose. He should not be dead today. So we came up with this bill, and as I said, it was signed by the governor, to make sure law enforcement have the proper training when dealing with people with mental health crisis, in a mental health crisis. The first option should never be to incarcerate or pull a gun or shoot. It's to de-escalate. And so that's what we did in this piece of legislation. As I said, we fought back. I'm a Democrat, 18 out of 101. I worked across party lines, and I got it done.
I just want to thank each candidate for being here. One more. Oh, Ms. Funches. Oh, I apologize.
That's all right.
All righty. Love you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I see a lot that needs to be done in the northeast side of town. When you come up Kelly from about 20th to 23rd and make a right, go all the way over to Martin Luther King on down toward the freeway, it looks terrible. It looks, you can tell, the proof is in the pudding. You can tell if it's something that needs to be done or if it's something lacking, and it's definitely something lacking when you go down Northeast 23rd. So I'm talking about economic development. I'm talking about more than just a prison and drugs. We need to, they have studies on what it takes to have an ideal community. What are the ingredients that you need to have a perfect community? And we don't have it on the northeast side. So somebody has not been doing their job on the northeast side of town. Now, we need to start working with children. You know, you got to start with your children and raise them. And you got to show them the way. They don't just learn on their own. Now, like I said, the proof's in the pudding. Now, we need to do something. They need to put some trees over there, plant some flowers, put some economic businesses, provide people with money, and start redlining money. See, I'm old school, and I'm telling it like it is. We need to, this redlining is a problem. That's the reason why you see it looking so bad coming down Northeast 23rd Street. We need a museum. I started a museum. We need some history. We don't even have a black museum in Oklahoma. You're putting money out there toward prisons. What about something positive and something healthy that children can learn from where they don't have to go to prison?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I got to say. We need to put some money into some things that's going to benefit the children and their educational growth.
Okay, and so what's the question?
The question is, where can you get some money to build some of these
All right,
programs?
there it is. That's what I want to hear. That's you ready?
My answer is heard and on the list. I heard you, and it's on the list. That's what I would really recommend that a lot of folks do. You know, again, start identifying what those needs are. Reach out to your county commissioner. Reach out to those, which, if I get elected county commissioner, reach out to me. If I don't get elected county commissioner, reach out to me. You know, do the same with whoever our county commissioner is, you know. Either way, closed mouths don't get fed.
I'm ready to work with anyone to make sure there's improvements in the community. The stuff that you just discussed, mostly city council areas of jurisdiction. But I'm ready to work with the city council in my scope as your next county commissioner, hopefully. And I've done things on my own as far as talking about our youth. When kids come into my office, 18 years old, 19 years old, and they make one mistake, and it's sometimes a mistake that ruins the rest of their life, which is unfortunate. So that's why I have created, through my law firm, an internship program with Millwood. Every year, 2 students intern at my office. And what we do with them is we take them to court, we show them the criminal justice system, the unfortunate situation with the criminal justice system, and also financial literacy as well. So we try to help make sure that individuals such as kids are not put in this criminal pipeline. And I've talked about Family Fun Day that I've done over the last 10 years before I was even elected. So that's something that's dear to my heart as far as making sure our young kids are the next city council members, Kamal or John Pettis, a pastor, Pastor Scobie, a lawyer, engineer. We got to support our children. And that's what I've tried to do in my entire career, is make sure that there's a next person behind me that is doing great things for our community.
All righty. I want to thank both of you gentlemen for even coming and participating. I want you to know that the local elections are so important, so very important and very vital to our day-to-day lives. And so what I ask you to do, and what I've been asking of our communities, is to really and truly dig deep. Don't go to the surface, but dig deep and know who's going to represent you and know who's going to be there for you. So we have this, Northeast Oklahoma City. I believe that we're going to do a great job, and this is one of the reasons why this forum was developed. And I thank both of you. I have y'all some gifts. Thank you. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go into the next as the gentlemen go to the right and the other gentlemen come to our left. And that would be the candidates for city council, because we're going to go straight into it. Are there any other comments or questions or concerns? Yes, yes, sir, I know you do. Come on. I want you to tell about what you're doing.
Well, no, I don't know nothing about what I'm doing. I do want to, it's not a question, but as I've sat here, in all due respect,
Yes.
I've almost felt like it's a Saturday Night Live parody where you have a serious person and a not so serious person. I will go on record to say this will be the most lopsided election for county commissioner. And I think about Clyde Madden. Does that name ring a bell?
Slide and Clyde.
Slide and Clyde. I love Clyde, but Clyde wasn't really serious about what he was doing. And here's the thing, Jed. Those campaign funds that now Representative Lowe has had to raise, additional campaign funds, it costs the county money to run these campaigns. He could have been done with his election. Listen, anybody can run. Asian, white, Hispanic, independent, Republican. But here's the reality, and a message to others. Don't come over here with a flippant attitude. When we are people that, with all due respect, but when we see someone that doesn't even show up with the intent to really just be respectful, and it goes to even dress. So listen, there are going to be a lot of people over here that could be upset at what I'm saying, but again, it's a parody, and you really were out of line. So nobody else will say it, but I'm saying it.
With all due respect, Pastor, with all due respect, I hear what you're saying, and I'll just agree to disagree.
That's fine.
Thank you. I thank you. The one thing that I know that who we are is that we can agree to disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable. So the one thing that I'm asking each and every one of you is to really and truly, we all have to do our own self-examinations, all right? So what I'm asking is that, yes, there's different types of running, and I get that because I ran, and I learned a lot, and I needed to learn a lot. Jed is in the politics. We get that. Our decorum is different, right? We're different. We come to the nines and dressed up. The thing is that we're good. Amen? We're good. We're good. As a community, we're good. And we're going to be great in the next 4 years because we have to stand together. And we will stand together, all right? So the next that we have on the line, and to each his own. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the city council, and we're going to hear from our candidates that are going to bring forth what they are about. And like I said, I had to learn a lot. And I'm glad. Learning it's evolving. And he is going to learn our culture. Okay. So that's where we are with that. And so I would like to introduce the young men that will be representing a great, great, great ward, Ward 7. We have Mr. Kamal Pennington and Mr. John A. Pettis. So if you would, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to feel real comfortable. We're going to be relaxed, okay? Let's be relaxed, and let's ask the questions that need to be asked. And let's get an understanding. He said, in all thy getting, get an understanding. And so we're going to get that understanding of who is going to represent us and how they're going to represent us. All right. If you would, give us a brief synopsis. And I have passed out flyers, and this was my test to the candidates, y'all. I told them, I gave them certain things that I needed to happen. And did none of them pass. So we're gonna keep it real, and we're gonna keep going. Okay? Because we have to do that. So, with that being said, I want Kamal to give, and I'm talking about even the county commissioner candidate, so I don't think I'm picking on somebody. I'm talking about all 4 men. County commissioner, y'all, I said research, research, and research, please. Kamal, please take, if you need 5 minutes or you need 2, let's give me 2. Let's give 2, okay? So because we want to go ahead and give 2 minutes, yeah, we're going to do 2. So give us 2 minutes of who you are and your bio, since the bio didn't depict who you really and truly are.
Sure. Well, thank you. Thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome.
And thank you for all the work you do in your neighborhood association. And I know, so I see so many of your neighbors here, and it's because you're so active in making sure that people have knowledge and engagement, and I think that's so important for our community. I am Kamal Pennington, and I am so grateful for the opportunity to be here. And I have to introduce my family. Wave, my wife, Tori, who's the president of the Oklahoma City American Federation of Teachers, first black woman to do that job, by the way. And our daughter Ella. We have another daughter, Olivia, who's in dance class. She decided that was more important than seeing the forum. And my parents, Carl and Cheryl Pennington, my sister, Kaya Pennington. I'm so grateful for them and their support. And when I think about my bio, I can be quick. I can tell you I am fourth generation Ward 7. I am a proud Northeast Viking. I'm a graduate of Oklahoma City University, where I received the Clara Looper Scholarship for Service. I am a graduate of the University of Oklahoma College of Law, where I became an attorney, and I knew, inspired by my parents who believe in serving this community, that my job was to take everything that had been given to me and ensure that the next generation has better. I am in this race because I believe in this community and I believe in us. And I believe that we have to build together a community where every neighborhood feels safe, where every person knows that you can walk on sidewalks that are safe, where you have your streets repaired on time, and where you know that you can trust the public transit system to get you to work on time. I believe we need to build together a community where every single kid, no matter how much money you make, has a high-quality school in their neighborhood. And that's why I serve as a school board member for Harding Fine Arts today, is because every kid needs that chance. I believe we have to fight together as a community to build a community where our seniors can age in place with dignity and respect, where we have a community that supports each other and quality housing for all. So I look forward to this conversation because I believe in this community, and I thank you for all that you've done to give me the opportunities that I've had.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you all who are joined with us on this evening. I am John A. Pettis, Jr. In 1969, there was a song that says, "May the work that I've done, let it speak for me." And so I like to change the words of the song and say, let the work that we've done together, let it speak for us. It was in 2013 when the people of Ward 7 elected me as city councilman with 62% of the vote, and it was in 2017 when the people re-elected me with 81% of the vote. So let's talk about track record for just one moment. When Garden Oaks, Garden Days, and other neighborhood associations had concerns about Lost Lakes and the concerns about them playing loud music at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, it was John A. Pettis Jr. who got out of his bed at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning and arrived at Lost Lakes to tell them to please turn it down, and I showed up with the police. You see, I'm the one who will fight for the community. More than just going to meetings, I will get out of my bed and fight for the community. When JFK had major concerns dealing with the recycling plants and scrap yards on Reno, it was this person, John A. Pettis Jr., who introduced the ordinance that limit the operation hours of those scrap yards and those recycling plants. When our community demanded police body cameras, it was this person, John A. Pettis Jr., who fought hard, who brought in the Fraternal Order of Police, who brought in the police department, as well as the community leaders, pastors, church leaders, and civil rights leaders to come together and get police body cameras done. When our community demanded that crime go down in Ward 7, it was this person, John A. Pettis Jr., who fought hard, who worked with the community to decrease crime by 20%. Let the work that we've done together, let it speak for itself.
All righty. We thank both of you for being here. I really and truly do. Because I know that this trail has not been easy. Let's go with the first question. And the first question, we'll start out with you, Mr. Pennington. if y'all don't mind me calling y'all Mr. Pennington. Affordable housing, let's hit that topic. How will you tackle the issue of affordable housing and prevent displacement of long-term residents due to rising property values? If you would give me two, because we ran over on the other one, and we're going to have some of the audience to speak if they would like.
Sure. Well, housing is critical. Every kid, every family should grow up in a neighborhood that's safe and in housing that they can afford and live with dignity. And that is so central to the American dream. And it should be possible for all of us in Ward 7, no matter what part of Ward 7 you live in. So I think the first thing we need to do is invest in creating a community that's where development doesn't just happen to us, it happens with us. And that's why, as a Northeast Renaissance board member, I've been fighting for us to have placekeepers. Placekeepers is an opportunity for us to train minority developers on how to actually build housing for themselves. And we're doing it right now in the White Orchard community, where we're investing in creating new housing where there hasn't been new housing in decades. And it's gonna give people the opportunity to live affordably, and that matters. It's also really important that as we're investing in this new bond project that's gonna happen this year, a vote is gonna happen this year, it's important, I wanna fight for us to include funds for us to make funds available so people can get their homes repaired. We have so many of our seniors in our neighborhoods that want to get their homes repaired and can't afford it. We can build up our community with those resources to make it stronger. I think we also have to have better housing laws. I have been an advocate for having accessory dwelling units or garage apartments. That requires you to go through months and months of approvals through City Hall. And I've been fighting for us to change that law to make it easier so people don't have to go through all that red tape to use your own garage apartment in your own home. It makes sense to make these housing options available. And so we had a community forum where we invited folks out to learn about what this impact would be. And we have some people from Northeast Oklahoma City who have been strong advocates for it. So it's really important that we focus on great housing being available for all people. And that's what I'm going to fight for.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Pettis.
I am a strong believer that the city of Oklahoma City must lead this effort when it comes to housing in Northeast Oklahoma City. Unfortunately, for the last several years, on top of years, the city has put forth more resources in building new things instead of helping individuals rehab their home. Yes, we will have a great opportunity in the upcoming bond issues to put some funds towards housing rehab, but there's many issues with the housing rehab program. The housing rehab program has a waiting list that's 3 years old. 3 years, the waiting list is 3 years. If you need a new roof, it'll take you 3 years. By that time, your roof would have came down. So there's a lot of things that the city of Oklahoma City must do to help the residents that's already in the neighborhood. We got to take care of first things first, individuals who live in the current neighborhoods. Now, one of the things as we look towards housing, the number one funds that the city of Oklahoma City receives is federal dollars through community block funds. And unfortunately, with everything that's going on in DC, those dollars will more than likely get cut. So we need to make sure that our community knows about what is going on, what programs they can be able to access. But the city of Oklahoma City must start with the homes that's already in existence.
Thank you. Now, with that being said, what type of strategies are we looking at? What strategies would you bring forth in helping the affordable housing? What type of strategies?
Well, I think the first strategy is we got to make sure that there's funding. So like we talked about, the bond projects give us a real opportunity for us to actually get those funds in a place where we can actually go put them to work in the community. But I think it's also really important that we think about the investment that we need to make in our infrastructure and that we really be putting the community first in everything that we do. So one of the things that I want to do, and it's really simple, is let's start a website that's ward7okc.com so people can come in and we can hear their voice about what they actually think we need to be building in our community. What they've done in Guthrie, Andrea, is they actually went out to neighborhoods and said, what kind of houses do you want to see in your neighborhood? And they had them create these, it was a pre-existing list of floor plans with designs that the neighborhoods themselves said, this is what we want to see. And so when builders want to come into these neighborhoods in Guthrie, they have to go through that menu that they received from neighbors directly. I want to do that in Northeast Oklahoma City. So that way we're taking what our neighbors say and putting it to use. And so it's really important that we have a strategy that puts the community first.
Mr. Pettis.
I do believe the city of Oklahoma City must hear the concerns of the residents. One of the things that the city of Oklahoma City is not doing is partnering up with other government entities to deal with this whole affordable housing crisis that we are in. Imagine the city of Oklahoma City partnering up with Oklahoma County to deal with affordable housing rehab. And that's something that the city of Oklahoma City has not done. The county has the Oklahoma County Oklahoma County Housing Finance Authority, but they don't partner with the city of Oklahoma City, and the city of Oklahoma City doesn't partner with them. Imagine the two coming together, what type of success we can have together to make sure that our community has housing rehab program and also housing that the community wants.
Thank you. Thank you both on that. The next question, does anyone have a question? Excuse me, I apologize. Yes, ma'am.
Sister has mental issues, and we were trying to get her into a place that could take care of her. And you know what? There's a waiting list of people who are seniors. They need help. They can't get in. I don't see anything other, I guess, unless if you're a company that you build a nursing home to put these people in, and then, okay, you can go to this side or you can go to that side. But, you know, we are getting older now, we are living longer now, and has ever the thought of helping us possibly be brought forth now at this day and age? I'm asking.
So the city of Oklahoma City has an organization called Oklahoma City Housing Authority who is tasked with that responsibility. But unfortunately, the Housing Authority has done a pitiful job in offering services to everybody. They have done a pitiful job, and I have to give credit to Senator Nice, who always stayed in the housing authorities behind, because they are doing a disservice to our community. They are tasked with that, but unfortunately, they're not doing it.
I'm talking about my age people that's 70. You know what? And then you got to wait on the housing authority to say, okay, I need help. You know, there's nothing said, there's nothing known out there unless you try to go to a nursing home. Well, we got a 3-year wait. When the needs are met now, we need something now, just like we need for all the other areas that are missing out. But I'm talking about us old folks.
I completely agree with you. And I just think about my 91-year-old grandma who grew up in this community, and when she was ready to downsize, it was so hard for us to find a place for her to live that she could afford on a fixed income, on Social Security. What do you do? And so that's so hard on so many of our families. That's why we have to be solution-oriented. We got to think about the future. I know that things have been bad, but we have to be focused on how we can make things change now. And so for me, let's start with the bond projects. Let's actually dedicate the funds so we can build these facilities so that people who have these mental health needs and our seniors can, again, retire and age with dignity.
But the the issue with depending upon bonds takes years on top of years to collect. So you have to look at other options that are available besides bonds. The last senior development that was done in Northeast Oklahoma City, Central Urban Development was the developer. I don't know if many of you know about the senior development that's just east of I-35, but that was done by Central Urban Development with a partnership with the City of Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma Housing Finance Agency, OFA, and a couple of other entities. The city put forth community block funds to fund that senior development, but that was the last senior development that was done in Northeast Oklahoma City. And that development, Central Urban Development, for example, kept being denied tax credits for that development. It was this councilman who went to OFA and said, hey, the city of Oklahoma City is putting forth money to this project. Please forward fund this organization, and they did.
That was the question I was going to ask you, was who were you going to get to help you with that funding? And also, would the county commissioner have anything to do with that, helping you do that? And what would you do, Kamal?
Well, first, I agree that we got to use every resource we have. So my day job, Bobby, is, I'm executive director of a nonprofit called It's My Community Initiative. And we have federal and state funded programs. So I think it's really important that if we're going to call on the state or the federal government, that we have a council person who has experience in getting those grants, in getting those contracts, so we can put our tax dollars in the state and federal government to work. So my commitment is to use all of my skills as an attorney, as someone who works on federal grants and state grants, and put them to use in Northeast Oklahoma City so we can build the quality housing that we deserve.
So again, I would definitely work towards building that partnership with Oklahoma County, because Oklahoma County has that responsibility of housing, providing housing. They have a housing agency that's responsible for housing. So imagine, again, the city of Oklahoma City partnering up with the county to address the housing needs in our community, because they have that charge. They have an agency. But again, the two are not working together.
We go ahead. The lady.
Good evening. I want to ask about, with the new developers coming in, all these developers are coming into Oklahoma City and they're just buying up everything. They're wanting to put apartments up. Like over in my area, I live in Wildwood Heights, Hills, and the developer won, and he gets the chance to put up 545 apartments plus 47 houses. And how many acres is it? It's only like 43 acres, right?
43 acres.
It's 43 acres.
Yes.
43 acres. So when we fought it, and we don't want that, when we had the PUD that was in place, which only let us have 350 apartments, plus also have stores and things that we need in our neighborhood because we don't have cleaners and things like that. This new developer came in, got a new PUD, and now we get none of the stores. We get 545 apartments in this 43. What'd you say? Oh, she got phase 2. But anyways, we lost. And this is something that the Oklahoma City Council had a lot to do with.
Yes, it did.
And so my question is the developer more important than we are, or do the community? Which way are you going?
Before you answer, let me finish with part two. Okay. That's what happened to us in Wildwood. We hear that we're going to have the community involved. We were excluded. our voices were not heard. Now, I believe in affordable housing. I do believe in it. But what happens when you're constantly building and there's no revenue generation, job creation, job training? What happens swiftly is these neighborhoods become problematic areas. And so what do we do from there? We turn around in our neighborhood and continue to feed the judicial system. So my question is, councilmen, or each one of you, what do you propose in terms of development? And John, I want to say to you specifically, because I've spoke to you and we've worked together in years in the past. I want to know, what are we going to do? I see Lincoln developed, but it's not minority-based. Lincoln is developed, huh? But it's not minority-based. What are we going to do so that we're generating revenue and not cramming people into areas and then walking away, and within 15 years we have an enormous ghetto again?
That's a lot, but I'm going to answer it. Let me tell you, I don't agree with what happened to you all's neighborhood. I don't agree with it at all, because yes, when COVID happened, a lot of things happened. But I'm the type of person that, knowing that COVID is going on, I would have made sure that individuals along the 300 feet legal protest knew what was going on. Now, let me say this. There's another hat that I wear. So I work for Millwood Public Schools as the community liaison. And Millwood found out about that PUD when you all found out. Y'all the one who notified us. The thing about it is, the city of Oklahoma City notified one school district but didn't notify the other school district. In that particular case, the 40-something acres has two school districts. Two school districts. They notified Oklahoma City Public Schools, but didn't notify Millwood Public Schools. And when the issue was brought up, well, we don't have to notify you all. And I gotta talk about it. I have to talk about it. Because you're talking about a lot of apartments that the money, the revenue from that development is not split equally among the school districts. Oklahoma City Public Schools will receive that revenue, but a good chunk of those students will end up at Millwood, and Millwood will not receive the property taxes from that development, whether it was the old PUD or the new PUD. So I got some huge concerns there of how that both PUDs was done. Because the neighborhood should have had more say-so in what happened, and also the school districts should have had more say-so. I could go on and on about that, but I strongly believe that the neighborhoods need to have a say-so the moment that an application is turned in for rezoning.
Well, I heard that, Vicki, and I agree with you. One thing, what Vicki just said was, they need to make the planning commission meetings later in the evening so people don't have to take off work to go. And I completely agree with you on that. Another thing that I want to say is, my wife's family is an original homeowner in Wildwood Heights. My wife's grandma, they created, when that house was made, she was the first person to live in it, and it stayed in their family for generations. So my daughter, little Ella, that you see, wave Elle, she's I don't know if she is, okay, kinda. Nana's making her wave. That is her daycare, is to go to her grandma's house right there on Braniff. So anything that happens in that neighborhood directly affects me. And so I feel for that. I think we need to change some things in the law. And as council person, that's what we need to do. Number one, there's not a far enough zone of notice. You remember when we talked about this, Vicki? They only do property owners within 300 feet. That's not enough. And we need to mandate that they give notice even if you don't own it. If you're the one living there, why shouldn't you get the notice about what happens to you? If you're a renter, you should still be noticed. Exactly. Exactly. And that's a problem. That is a problem. So what I'd like for them to do is to change the law where they have to put up, not just do that, but put up signage. Be required. Let's encourage these developers to actually have to put up a sign in the neighborhoods that are affected so that people can see it. I know you did that, Vicki. You went out and put up your own signs to make sure that neighbors would know, and I appreciate that because that's leadership in a neighborhood that needed it. And so I appreciate that, but we got to change these laws. I think the other thing that we need to do is make sure that minorities are developers, and that's why, as a board member for the Northeast Renaissance, I've been a fighter for our Placekeepers program. The Placekeepers program has trained tons of developers so that we have the knowledge and skills. And then we've got to go take it a step further and stop the redlining. We aren't getting the loans. You all know this. Black people are consistently denied loans for homeownership at higher rates than other communities. Why is that? I think we know. That has to change, and I'll fight for it. So I appreciate that question.
My question is, you all have sit there and you all have talked about they. And they have been there for years. They have done this year after year after year. So all of these plans that you have, all of these great ideas and things that you want to do, when they, who are people in entitlement, who have fixed it so that you cannot be there in the daytime and you do not have the meetings at the nighttime, they who are, we know who they are entitled and have not moved and will not move. So what are we going to do if the they that you all are talking about is going to still be there to keep us down with whatever idea that you put forward? Because you said that they have been doing it year after year after year after year. What are you going to do to get rid of the they?
I think that's a great question, because what I'm hearing in your question is, are we gonna elect a leader who takes full responsibility for their decisions? Are we gonna elect a leader who's going to own what they do? And that's what I'm hearing in what you're saying. I think it is so important for us to remember that other wards in Oklahoma City are also not being fully invested in. Let's look at the south side of Oklahoma City. Let's look at our wards 5 and 4. I think what we have to do is start working with other council members and saying, aren't we all some of us are experiencing these challenges, let's work together. Don't we want our residents to have access? It's about being able to be a leader who can work with people, no matter where they come from, to build common ground around all of our constituents in Oklahoma City having access to us. That's what it's about, is being transparent and having that access. I've served on the Planning Commission for 6 years. I got elected. You have to get elected among the other commissioners to become chairman, and I served for 2 years. And I did it by being a collaborator, by working with people, by putting the interests of the community first. And when they could see that in me, they were willing to allow me to be a leader for them. And I think that's what we have to do, is go get together with the people on the council and work together and build that unity around making this process more transparent, and that's what I will do.
And I do agree with you, Vicki, about the transparency. One of the reasons why they change when the Planning Commission meetings are and City Council meetings are because they did not want the community there, plain up and simple. Plain up and simple. When the community showed up and showed out, they didn't want that. So that's the reason why they have it at 8:30 in the morning for City Council and then 1:30 for the Planning Commission. And I have to talk about this. We got to have a councilman who's willing to stand up for the community. What people don't realize, You have council members who family own some stuff in Northeast Oklahoma City that you have to deal with, and I fought that. You have planning commissioners who, again, the same, whether it's their family or whether they represent entities who own a lot of commercial properties in Ward 7. And when I was city councilman, I had to fight that. When we talk about Lost Lakes, we had a councilman whose nephew was a partner in Lost Lakes. When we think about the commercial properties, whether it was on 23rd Street or the commercial properties, the shopping centers on 36th Street, that was owned by a councilman's uncle that I had to deal with. I mean, so you talk about the day, there are some days out there, but we have to have a councilman who's willing to go toe-to-toe. And I'm going to tell you, I went toe-to-toe with the millionaires who tried to buy our community, the millionaires who constantly spend money trying to dictate who the city council person is.
Whole nother subject right there. Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Edwards.
My question is similar to the one that I asked about the commissioner's race. What is your 10-year plan? Your position, as I understand, is not a full-time, day-to-day position. I understand your work may be, but it is what it is. What is your 10-year plan as far as the next step? Some of your predecessors have went to city council, commissioner, and then moving on up. Can you tell us what your plans are as far as, is this a stepping stone for you to bigger and better things? Or do you plan on sticking around for a while and doing the best you can for the community?
For me, my plan is to stay put in 7 Heaven.
My plan is to serve Ward 7 to the best of my ability every single day if I get elected, and stay in office serving Ward 7 for as long as I can. And so I think when you're asking about our 10-year plan, I think the 10-year plan has to start with, we've got to be serious about development that's from the community. That's why in my 10-year plan is, let's focus on a community land trust, where we bring the community together to build a plan and build the resources that it takes to make the investments in making housing affordable and ensuring that we can keep people who are historic residents of Northeast Oklahoma City in the community. Let's have, again, strategies that are going to ensure that our elderly, our seniors, have a chance to get their homes repaired. So we're building, I want to make Northeast Oklahoma City the best place to live in all of Oklahoma City. And I think that means by making sure we're investing in our neighborhoods and really creating the kind of quality living that we deserve as a community.
Follow-up question to that is not so much a question, but is a request from the community. We talk about not being informed, being within the 300 feet notice of people. That is the great thing about us being here. We are neighborhood associations coming together and sharing knowledge. It starts at home. We know what's going on in Wildwood. Wildwood knows what's going on in Park Estates, Wildwood Hills, Wildwood Heights, Richardson's Wildwood, all these neighboring communities. We've got to share information, come to each other's meetings, get the leaders gathered together so we can understand what's going on. Because if we're waiting on someone to knock on the door and say, hey, we want to do this in your area, it's not going to happen. And we can't rely on the council people to do the job that we're not willing to do our homework for.
Right, true. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to, because we did start a little late, I get it. We have up until 8:15. And that's when we're going to cut it all the way off. I ask you, because this is so vital and this is so important to us. I don't mind staying where I need to get fed or where I need to receive knowledge. I don't mind. But what I will ask is let us be mindful of the questions and let us be mindful of, respect. That's all. That's all I have to say. Go ahead. Which one? It doesn't matter. Which one?
I just wanted to know, since far northeast Oklahoma, they've left us out. and you all can say what you want to say about the last city council. They haven't done nothing for the last couple of years. So now we got two people coming in, and I want to know, John, are you going to help us in Fort Northeast Oklahoma City? You had been helping us. You know how we dealt with Lost Lake. So what are you going to do now? Are you going to bring in infrastructure houses? You going to help the elders with their homes? Help us. Grocery stores, gas stations. They don't care about Gordon Days, Gordon Oaks, Carbondale, and the last city council. You say what you want to say about Nikki Dice. She didn't do nothing.
Okay, I said respectful. Let's be respectful. Okay, ma'am? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Pettis.
So to answer your question, I'm going to fight hard for you all like I did years before dealing with Lost Lakes. Now, again, when it comes to the far eastern part of Ward 7, I go with the phrase of that's why partnerships are important. That's why the city of Oklahoma City again has to partner with Oklahoma County. When Willa Johnson, the late Willa Johnson, was alive and she served as the county commissioner, it was Willa Johnson and I who worked together, where her crews did the work and the city did pay for the materials. When you have that joint partnership, you are able to do more infrastructure projects. And so that's what I am proposing for your area, as well as the bond issues, as well as community development funds and so forth.
Go ahead, Mr. Yeah. You know, it's kind of, yours dead? No, there it is. There it is. You know,
It's back.
It's an attempt.
It's back. Thank you, Bobby. I agree with you, and you know how important it is for us to have the community come together, be informed, and work hard together to build the kind of community that we want to. And that's why I appreciate you, because you know we just got through getting rid of that detox center that they were going to put in Garden Oaks across the street from the Head Start. And thanks to you, and thanks to Joyce Willis right here, coming together, we got that developer together. We told them exactly what we thought, and what happened? We stopped it because we came together, because we worked together. One of the things that I want to do, you're talking about Luther and you're talking about Far East. Spencer and all of those areas feel so neglected. When I go there and talk to neighbors, I hear it all the time. My road hasn't been paved in decades. This bridge has been out for decades and I have to take a long route. All of that is heard all the time. So what I want to do, and they're even trying to stop some of the public bus routes out that direction. They're saying they're going to stop them, and then they're going to set up a hotline so you can call, and then somebody will come pick you up. Do you believe that? I don't. So what I'd like to do is I want us to set up a committee of leaders from Far East Oklahoma County in Ward 7. I think we need to get those community leaders together so we can start talking about those issues that are unique to that part of the ward. And I want to do that with Senator Nice, with the next county commissioner, with the state representative in those areas, because we've got to bring all areas of government together to focus on how we can impact that part of the community. So that's how I want to do it. I think we have to have real structures and plans to make a difference, and that's what I want to do.
And when they tried to stop Route 19 several years ago, it was Willa Johnson and I who came together, who worked together to make sure that Route 19 stayed in existence.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say something. I don't care who they pick to be the council person. It's a whole bunch of other people sitting up on that council. And you can be a pit bull up there. And I'm telling you, I work for the city. You can be a pit bull up there. And if you don't have no help in the community and with some of them other council people, you ain't gonna do nothing. I just wanted to say that, because a lot of times we think, cause you go into politics, you think you gonna do something by yourself. It ain't about you doing something by yourself. It take partnership and other people to help you get it done.
Yes.
And And I wanted to say something about what y'all just talked about out there in Gordon Day. That nursing home that they closed up. And the lady over there, that'd been a nice black community history, that they closed that nursing home. They still need that nursing home out there. But it's just sitting there now. But I'm glad y'all fought against it because that's what they was trying to do, put a drug detox center there.
Well, I'll just say again, I think it's so important that we create avenues for the community to be heard. And that's why I know it's a simple suggestion, but it's going to take some work for us to do it. But we got to have a website for Ward 7. We can actually hear these ideas. I lost my mic, but I'm loud. Where we can actually hear these ideas from our residents directly. I think we even need it. It's as simple as a newsletter. It's as simple as us having people sign up for text alerts about things that are happening in the community. We've got to come together to make sure that that voice is heard. And I think we have to elect leaders that have a history and a track record of working with people across differences. That's what I do on the school board, fighting for equal opportunity for people to get a quality education. That's what I do as a planning commissioner, where you got to work with people who have different views. So I agree with you. We have to be collaborative.
In some cases, it takes 5 votes to pass something on the city council. And then in some cases, it takes 7. And I have a long history to get to number 5 and number 7. But what we have to realize that we do have council members who again they again have family members, or they represent some clients who have a lot of stuff in Northeast Oklahoma City. So you got to fight against that too.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Going back to the day, I went to a meeting. I was fortunate enough to go to a meeting with my president, Ms. Holman, and a couple of other community people in our community. And I don't have any problems with Airbnbs. Please believe me, I do not have any problems with it. But we sit in that meeting all day long. And when they got to us, they used the law against us because they had sent out a letter and worded it as if we, the community, had an opportunity and a chance to fight it. People got up and said important verifications and things against Airbnb in their community as we did. But they used, the they that you all keep talking about, they used that law against us, and they voted for Airbnbs they voted against everybody who stood up and asked for Airbnbs not to be in their community. They didn't say they didn't want them. I don't have any problem with them. My family, friends, and loved ones stay in them when they go and visit, but it's usually not next door to me. And that's all. But they did not even blink their eyes when they said the good old down home, oh, we're sorry. We understand. We know what you mean. And then turned around and the people you're talking about, voted completely, totally against it. And I know we got to have hope. I know we got to care, and I know. But unless you get rid of the we're going to still be in the same problem and situation. You all have brilliant ideas. You all are going to do good. But the they is still there.
No, it's back. So I do have some problems with Airbnbs. I got to be honest. I think, it can be an appropriate solution, but what we have to do is make some changes to the way Airbnbs laws exist in Oklahoma City. So as planning commissioner, I did it. We voted on it. We had to increase the number of minimum stays. If people can go to some, they turn them into party houses, basically, in some neighborhoods, if you can only have a one-night stay. So we changed the law and said, I voted for an ordinance that said we need to have a 2-day minimum. So that way we can decrease these people who might want to just come in and party. I'm for people having to take longer to have to come back more frequently to get their licenses renewed for Airbnb, so that they're actually held accountable for what they do. And then we really need enforcement. There's not enforcement. The city needs to create a method so that they can actually investigate all these illegally operating Airbnbs. That has to stop. And there is a way to do that. There's a way to do that through an online program. And so if the city makes those investments, we can actually investigate those times when people are operating illegal Airbnbs and try to stop them. So there's work that needs to be done to make it better, for sure.
Mike, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Catherine, and I reside in Wildwood. I've resided there since the year 2000, so I guess it's about 25 years now. And I'm just going to reference something that's in terms of one of the things that I think should be considered a priority concerning the 2025 GO bond. In November of 2024, they sent out information about the bond for public comments. And so I replied, and then I texted the information to neighbors in my neighborhood regarding an issue that I'm having. What led to this is that one of the property now has a ravine because we don't have a storm drain on the particular street, that block that I live in, okay? The 1100 block, they have storm drains. The 1300 block has storm drains. The 1200 block does not have a storm drain. And basically, when an issue come up, actually the property, it's the neighbor's property, the water runs through and it's practically had to fill it with rocks so the grass will not, the yard will not deteriorate anymore. When an issue came up, we thought, okay, time has passed. An issue came up, the city had come out, and they basically were going to do some type of method to try to correct it. Wasn't the correct method. The correct method, I believe, is a storm drain. However, they were going to make this side part in the property where they did not contact any neighbors about doing this. I just happened to look out the window and wonder what was going on. So I went out there speaking to the contractors. It turned out that the Oklahoma City Public Works system came out. They came out and they said that they were contacted, and I'm going to be transparent because whatever I courtesy copied, it went to the Homeowners Association, Wildwood, okay? And I live in Wildwood. So they said, well, we received a call from the Neighborhoods Association, Wildwood. So I said, well, we the homeowners, no one to my knowledge was contacted about you digging this up so the water can sit here, and when that water is really running, I mean, it can run fast, that's not going to hold it. It's not going to hold it. That water's going to go around because we already have a ravine, and we're going to end up with another ravine. And the neighbors told me when they had contacted the city, I guess once they moved there, they both passed on now, said that, well, that's private property because it's in their backyard. There's nothing we can do about it. So once all this got started and they put a stop on it because they all came out and stood down there, you can step down in the ravine. And the Neighborhood Association, the point of contact, he came out as well. So whatever I sent to the State Department, they received a copy of it. They even had me speak at their Neighborhood Association meeting. When I contacted the Public Works Director about this, they given me different people to call, and I kind of felt like I was being put off. And the reason when I felt like I was just being put off is because I felt they didn't believe that I was actually going to follow up. But I did follow up. It'd been a long time since I written an official letter, but I did. Now, the Public Works Director told me on this public street that I live on, he basically told me when he started looking at topographical maps that it showed that the water that is coming from all the neighborhoods, 3 acres, when it's just 3 acres, if it's not more than 3 acres, it's a private matter. That water can just sit there. Well, I don't care if it's 3 acres, 6 acres, or 10 acres. It should be no acres. It should be a public matter because it's a public street. The water is sitting on the public street. It shouldn't be a private matter. He told me that if I wanted a response, I needed to send an official letter to the Public Works Director and the Oklahoma City Councilor's office. That's when I called the Oklahoma City Council, and I spoke to the executive for Ward 7. Okay, I referred to that person as the gatekeeper. Okay, so she basically told me that if I was going to submit a letter to the Public Works Director, I also needed to submit one to the Oklahoma City Councilor. So I did. I prepared the letter, I sent it certified mail, courtesy copied who I needed the courtesy copy. I did a pictorial representation, a narrative representation from the whole time that I've been there and was aware of the situation. And I showed we're talking about safe streets. Well, all this water sitting here is not safe streets. When it freezes in the winter, cars are having to, you may slide, you may fall down because people like to walk in the evening. However, you're telling me it's private property. So I forward all that to them, and I have the signed certified copies where they receive the information. And then this is I'm gonna finish up, but I want to give you the background. My son always say, Mama, get to the point.
Yeah.
But you said it takes time. It does take time.
It does.
It does take time.
It does.
And I'm sharing this, and it's taking me time to state this. But it does take time because sometimes, yes, I do want to give up because I feel that we do need a storm drain there. But we don't have one. That may seem minor to you.
No, ma'am, it doesn't.
But it does make a difference. And I feel that me as one person, I can look at it like, well, it doesn't matter, because when I asked the neighborhood association, should you write the letter to the Public Works Director or should I write the letter? They said it would be better for the homeowner to write the letter than the neighborhood association.
Well, let me
finish. Let me finish. It's not you.
Okay.
It's not you, and they already know, because the neighborhood association, I went to their meeting and did the presentation I'm giving to you.
Thank you.
So it's no secret.
And I want you to give it to us.
Because I am transparent.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Because it's not going to be like I'm talking behind your back.
Right.
Okay?
Right, yes, ma'am.
So what I did with this GO 2025 bond issue, I have on here my public comment, 11/5/24, to whom it may concern. On 4/8/22 and 4/11/22, I sent a letter to the Oklahoma City Public Works Director and the Oklahoma City Assistant Municipal Counselor.
Okay.
By certified mails.
Hold on for me, okay? Because I don't want you to read the entire thing. And I ask y'all to stay, you know how they say in the church, stay for the benediction. Because there's some more things that I want you guys to be aware of. I want to hear what it is that you have to say. So let me get with you and let us create a forum so that we can talk about, because other guaranteed other neighborhoods are going through the exact same thing that you're going through, that they need that vital information.
Well, I appreciate you letting me just state this.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
just that the more, I just felt they were looking for me not to respond.
Oh, yeah.
So they told me to send something officially, and when I did, I never got an official response back.
Okay, and
I'll
so
just
you
leave
did
it
not
at
get
that.
your response, is what you're saying?
I followed up, and I never received a response. That was in 2022.
Oh.
This is 2025.
Oh, you still haven't gotten a response?
No official response.
Okay, that's what we needed to get down to. So now, as our councilman, what we need to know is what initiatives or process that we as communities need to go through to get results. Is that it? No, I need for you to get in contact with me. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, because we have about, give me 2 more minutes, and you take a minute, you take a minute, okay? Thank you, and I'm sorry, I apologize, but I need that to go. No, ma'am, no, don't apologize.
Well, Catherine, thank you. Thank you for letting us know, and I'm sorry. It's hard. It's really hard to do what you did, and that's why it's so important that we have great neighborhood association leadership, that we come together and work together so that all of these voices are lifted up, and that's what I pledge to do as your councilman, is focus on how we can listen and put the community first and deliver real results that change this community for the better. So I appreciate your question, and I pledge to work with you, because you know that the first thing that the newly elected council person is going to do is work on the bonds and what projects are included. And so I'd like to work with you on that.
That's a priority in all of our communities because we don't want to be flooded out. That is in every last one of our communities on the northeast side, okay? That's why I said that's another discussion that we need to have. Go ahead, Pastor.
As you know, I know your area very, very well. And so I do agree that the city of Oklahoma City needs to do something. But the drainage issue is a issue that pretty much all of the neighborhoods are dealing with within Ward 7. And that's something that we have to deal with as a whole. And yes, we have the bond issue coming up. Yes, bond money should be allocated to deal with draining issues, but there are some other opportunities that we need to look at. And so I look forward to working with you as well.
Thank you. And I thank each and every one of you for coming out. Because, and I give you all a hand clap because you know what? They didn't think it was going to even be anything. They thought it was going to be 2 or 3 people trickling in. But I thank you because I saw over 50 people. And that is saying much. What I ask you to do is still stay vigilant, still stay, tenacious in your communities because it's going to take us all collectively. And then we're going to have to back whichever one comes into office. As a whole, we have to back our leaders, you guys. It's one thing that we can say that we look at, but we have to back them. We may not, you may not agree with them all the time, but we still have to back them. Stay on them. Be agreeable. And if you disagree, still be agreeable. Some people don't like my preachy voice, but I still have to be agreeable. I have to be agreeable with these two. I've asked both of them to come to our community and come and speak. You have to be agreeable. So what I'm asking each and every one of you is, again, to take that time out to find out what both candidates are about. See their track records. See the county commissioner's track records. Don't do it because they're your friends, your family, but do it because they are the one that fits in the equation for us. Okay? So what I ask each and every one of you is to be vigilant, have a heart for our community. Keep that heart. And so what I ask right now is that we stay on one accord. Because they are not coming. It's us that have to come. So stay. Yes, ma'am. Yes. And that's where we come in agreement with the Northeast Oklahoma Neighbors Council, a coalition, a coalition. And that's why we're asking each neighborhood to come together. Develop if you're not developed. Ask another one how to develop, because we even have something that is getting ready to take place right now. And our president is asking for everyone to be involved. So we need the involvement. We have pastor who is getting ready to do something in our community as well. We need participation. And that's all we're asking, is to participate. That's all it was about tonight, was participation. If you would, with all hearts and minds clear and ready to do the work that is needed of us, please, please, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just ask you to bless us and bless us more indeed. Father, we ask right now that you will make a way out of no way. We ask, Father God, that you will continuously keep your hands over the Northeast Oklahoma City side neighborhoods, so that we may be protected through the storms, through the rains, through the everything that the enemy has planned and plotted for our demise. Father God, we ask that we will come on one accord like never before. Father, we even ask right now that you have strategically set us in place, and that one of these gentlemen will be the leaders of Ward 7. Father God, we even ask that you will bless each and every one of them. And Father God, we ask that we will have a heart to serve you and to serve this community. Father, we give you the honor, the glory, and all the praise. And everyone say amen. Covered and sealed in the blood.